In this video, I want to talk about 3 rules of 3 when it comes to prepping that I've picked up over the last few years. Why there are exactly 3 of them, I don't know. Don't question it. It's just what it is. The first one is that 1 is none, 2 is 1, and 3 is 3. This is a different take on, I think it's an old military saying 1 is none, 2 is 1. But the way that I heard it, the way that I learned it was that you should always aim to have 3 of something. It's all about redundancy when it comes to your most important things, when it comes to making a fire or cleaning water or cooking food, for example. You should always aim to have 3 different ways of doing that, 3 different tools or 3 different methods of doing that. And you should always start with the most basic one, the one that requires less output or less tools, less fuel, whatever it is. So for example, when it comes to cleaning water, we all know that you can boil water and it cleans it, it kills off all the bacteria. When it comes to the second one, maybe you want to have your water filtration system there, or maybe you want to have some water filtration tablets or something like that. Just 3 different ways of doing the most important things for your survival, all about redundancy. And the second rule of 3 is probably the most well-known one when it comes to prepping. And it's all about how long you can survive in different situations. A lot of the time you start from the bottom, from the longest time horizon. You say that you can survive for 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, 3 hours without shelter, 3 minutes without oxygen. And one that I heard as well was 3 seconds without hope. And I really like that one. Obviously, this is not set in stone. You can survive longer than 3 weeks without food, unless you are super lean, and you can die way faster than 3 hours without sheltering if you're in a really shitty situation. But it's more of a way to prioritize in your own mind, what's most important right now. If shit hits the fan and you're in it, it's much more important that you focus on you being able to breathe than it is you being able to cook food tomorrow. Obviously, when it comes to actually doing the preparing, when it comes to actually prepping, when buying the things or learning the skills, maybe you should focus on the most important things first. Maybe it's more important that you're able to make a fire than it is that you have 25 kilograms of beans stored. If you can't make a fire, but you have a lot of beans, you're probably gonna die before you're able to eat the beans anyway, pretty much. And the third one is one that I saw on Reddit a couple of weeks ago. It's basically putting yourself in a situation where shit hits the fan in different lengths of time. How do you prepare for a situation where shit hits the fan and you have to handle this for 3 days, 3 weeks, and 3 months? Because it varies quite a bit. If the power grid is down, if you don't have any electricity for 3 days, what do you need to do then? Well, food-wise, most of us have some food in our pantry and in our fridge, and that won't really go bad after just a couple of days. Even if the fridge doesn't run, as long as you don't leave the door open or open it all the time, it will still stay relatively cool in there for hours to a few days. And you can eat the food even if it doesn't stay cool that long for a few days, right? So you can just eat that food. A lot of it you don't have to cook, so maybe you don't even need to have a way to cook. You need to have some water, but just a few days, you can just have a jug of 25-liter jug of water stored, and that's good for just you for a few days. Just the last thing though is communication. When shit hits the fan and the grid is down, you want to know, is it just me, or is it my entire neighborhood? Is it my entire county, or is it bigger than this, right? So for a few days with just a power bank, you can probably keep your phone charged. That's pretty much what you would need for just a few days. And shelter wise, as long as you don't open all the windows and open the doors, the heat trapped inside your home will stay there for a couple of days. Even if your radiators doesn't work for a couple of days, it won't get freezing inside, even if it's freezing outdoors. If we zoom out though, we go from 3 days to 3 weeks. Now we're talking about, okay, you need to have a lot more water stored. Maybe you need to have a way to collect water from a stream or something. And when it comes to your food in your fridge will have gone bad after this time without electricity. So probably need to more rely on your shelf-stable foods in your pantry. And those you probably need to be able to cook. So a way to cook food, maybe like a camping stove or something like that, or you can make a fire outdoors. When it comes to your medication, like now we're talking, okay, I need to have proper couple of weeks at home stacked. For me, for example, I take medication every week for joint pain. So I need to have a couple of weeks at home. So I'm not in excruciating pain. It's not that bad, but it's real kind of bad after a couple of weeks without medication. I can't function as well as I'm doing right now when I take it properly, right? So you need to have your medication. And when it comes to communication, 3 weeks, you probably want to have like a battery powered radio, something like that, and some spare battery so that you can actually listen to what is actually happening right now. 3 days, grid is down. That can just be a power failure, something bad happen. No one is at fault really, but 3 weeks time, now we're talking like supply chain issues. Now we're talking what happened in the early days of the pandemic and like when that started to escalate and impacted more and more. So now is really the time when you want to actually listen to what is happening in the world, like how is this impacting me? When it comes to your shelter, 3 weeks in the middle of the winter, if you live like I do in Sweden, it's gonna get fucking cold here. My radiators won't work. I want to be able to have another way to heat my home. If I can have like an open, like a stove or like a fireplace, that would be a lot better. And if we go from 3 weeks to 3 months, now we're talking a proper shit hits the fan situation. Now we're talking pandemic, COVID-19, but instead of like 1% of people dying or whatever, and most of the people that died were already pretty bad off, maybe 20% of people die. Well, oh shit, this is a really bad situation. We don't know how long this is gonna last. How do you prioritize? What do you think about? Then how do you prepare for that? Well, you need a lot of water, or more realistically, unless you can have just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of liters of water stored, so you need a proper way to collect water. Some rainwater collection system, or a stream, or a well with a hand pump or something like that. Some way that you can get water. When it comes to food, now the 25 kilos of beans is a really good thing to have, because this long, the food just in your pantry won't be enough. So you need to have a proper food storage setup. Some grains, rice, pasta can work as well, some lenses, some beans, whatever. A lot of things can be stored for a long time, canned food obviously, but it's just a volume thing. Like 3 months, you need to have a lot more volume of food, thousands and thousands and thousands of calories stored, so you have stuff to eat. And medication time, here in Sweden we aren't really allowed to withdraw medications for like months and months on end. I get my medication in like packages, like cartons of 6 syringes that I take once per week. I'm able to pick up 2 like every 10 weeks or so. So I'm able to have, pretty much 3 months of medication at home, right? But if it extrapolate even further, 4, 5, 6 months time, how do I deal with that? We'll probably need to talk to my doctor so I can get a bit more medication withdrawn right now. But in a situation like that, would I even be able to get my medication? I don't know. And for people that have actually life-threatening diseases or serious shit where you actually need your medication to live, I just need it to not be in pain, but I will live. A lot of other people need their medication to actually survive. And especially if you have medication that needs to be cooled, a way to keep it cool at home without electricity, that is not an easy thing. You need to have generators or solar or wind or battery, something like that. And communication, pretty much the same as before, some sort of radio, some sort of way actually listening to what is happening. This is definitely not just local. When it's 3 months time, it is a lot more likely to be global. And things that happen on the other side of the planet impact you next week. All right, so that was 3 rules of 3 that I picked up over the last few years being interested in this whole preparedness thing. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, please hit a like, follow my channel for more of this stuff. And if you have any other rules of thumb that you follow that help you in your preparedness, or when it comes to prioritize things and not forgetting the most important stuff, please share them in the comments below. I'll be happy to hear them. All right, that's about it. See you.